So self and its bodies, continuing on this topic. So yesterday we saw like how the soul starts identifying with one body in which it enters, right? So this false identification makes us, feel the problems of that situation. Okay. So like Prabhupada gave an example of the dream, that when in dream, we are dreaming that some tiger is chasing us, right? So our soul is actually inside that dream, and we are seeing ourselves. So the tiger is chasing us, and then we start getting, scared, because the soul is identifying with the situation, right? Although it's not correct, right? So similarly, when soul leaves the body, this present body, and then goes into another body, let's say if it is a like unfortunate situation and it's a dog's body, then it will bark, it will wag the tail, right? It will not uh, remember that, okay, I was a programmer or a lawyer or a doctor or community worker or something in my past life. Otherwise it will become so difficult for the soul to live in that body. So therefore this Krishna makes one forget the past life, and then the soul starts identifying with the present body, in whatever body we are in right now. So therefore we identify with our body, and we identify with the situations created by this body also, right? So we identify with our children, we identify with our family, husband, brother, sister, I mean siblings and parents, and we identify with everyone. But when one person leaves the body, we never know where did he go, where did that body go. We can't just see the body, but soul is still there, right? But we don't know about its existence, I mean where it is. It's certainly it's there, because soul never dies, right? So these all things are very very important to be aware of, because based on this knowledge we should lead our lives. Okay. So what, how does this knowledge help us? That we will not get too much involved in something, not too much, not too little, and we will always have this knowledge at the back of our mind, that I am a spirit soul, and my position is of service in all the situations, right? So how does that help us? That will not allow us to agitate too much or get too happy, too elated. Sometimes when people get too happy, then also they do certain like weird things, like they will drink a lot or they will go on the road and run around in elation, in happiness, right? So that's also not proper. It's dangerous for their lives. And when somebody gets too occupied with the sorrows or miseries in their life, then also they take some difficult decisions in their lives. They take wrong shelters many times. Somebody commits suicide, or somebody takes shelter of too much liquor, drugs, or they do some crime or something, you know so this kind of situation can very well be avoided if we have this transcendental knowledge. And why I'm calling this a transcendental knowledge? Because this is the true knowledge, because this is talking about our soul, our real identity. Whatever knowledge we are getting in our school, in our whole education system, that whole knowledge is related to our bodies, right? So school is trying to get you into a good college. College is trying to get you into good jobs. Okay, that's it. So, but that is also important since we are stuck in this material world. So I'm not saying that's not important, but we cannot just get wasted in it, right? Completely involved without caring about our, real identity. So all that knowledge, all that education is only related to this body. As long as this body is there, that much of time, that is relevant, right? Once somebody is like 90 years old, nobody is asking him, what education did you get? Did you do PhD? Oh wow, okay, so will you now start a job or something? Things start becoming irrelevant, right, as the life progresses. So therefore we should never forget this, that what is the real purpose of my life? Who am I after all, right? So this is very, very important to keep contemplating, and therefore it is a transcendental knowledge. Nobody will teach us at schools or to our children also. Therefore it is very, very important for parents to be acquainted of this knowledge, so that they can impart it to their children. And that is the, Vedic treasure of India, because nobody else in the world is giving this kind of knowledge. They are talking about death, life. No. So even like moral topics are not discussed these days so much in the school. Just general stories and histories, little bit here and there, that's all. So let's read on. So I just have this image to show you. Yeah, this is the this image is showing us the transmigration of soul. So this is the soul, and this is the pure soul. And then it is born as a human child, and then it is growing, and then yeah, it gets older and older, and it dies, and then it might become a like some ghost or some animal, or again it can be born as a human. So we will just remember through this picture how this transmigration is taking place. So when the soul transmigrates, the gross body is lost. The gross body is made up of matter, so earth, water, fire, air, and ether. These five things constitute our body. So therefore different traditions have different ways of after death rites, right? So in Hindu tradition, they burn the body, so they are giving it back to the nature. In some traditions, they bury the body, so they are again giving it back to the nature, right? So our body is made up of these gross elements, and anything material will eventually be finished. That is the nature of matter. But the spirit soul is never finished. So we are changing bodies one after another. Why are there different types of bodies? Because the living entity, the spirit soul, is contacting various modes of material nature. And according to what modes are influencing him, the living entity develops a gross body. So there are different pictures I can show tomorrow. So somebody, let's say they are very much interested in, sleeping. I have seen some people, whenever they get opportunity, they will sleep. Like even the afternoon nap would be like 3 hours, 4 hours, something like that. And in the night also they are sleeping, only a little time they are awake. So when they are indulging so much in sleeping, which is a mode of ignorance basically, so they are born in the that same mode. So like for example, bear. So bear hibernates for 6 months. It is almost sleeping for 6 months, right? So some this kind of species is selected for that person, right? Because he's indulging too much connecting with the mode of ignorance. And someone is, let's say, very enthusiastic, very well rounded, well oriented, and really wanting to impart nice knowledge to people, and wanting to share, very kind, truthful, all those things, very clean inside out, then they are actually interacting with the mode of goodness, right? So they might be born as a human in their next life. Okay, but still the problem remains is they are going to come back in this material world. Whether we are in the mode of goodness, passion, or ignorance, we are going to come back in this material world in some or the other body form. Okay, so at least we should be in goodness, at least we should get a human birth. Otherwise other body forms are very, very miserable. They cannot even say speak anything. They cannot even express anything. So we have acquired our present body because of our past activities. Karmana daiva netrena jantur deho papatyaye. One gets a particular type of body according to his past karma or material activities. Nature acts automatically. So I heard one nice statement that in nature there are no punishments, there are only consequences. Okay, so nobody should think that, oh, if one person gets a body of a bear, then he's being punished. No, it's not a punishment. Why it is not a punishment? Because for Krishna, a human or a bear, they are the same, because he is seeing them on the spiritual platform. They both have souls, right? And they both are his servants. But we see in derogatory way that animals have. And why we see? Because they have less facilities. But then what we are doing with the facilities given to us? Do we know the purpose of our life? Are we investing our time properly in our purpose? All those things are important. So nature never punishes, it only gives consequences. That okay, if one person is sleeping too much, okay, their inclination is sleeping, so let them sleep for 6 months, so let's become a bear. So nature will act. You will have to develop that disease and undergo some suffering. Similarly, when we come under the influence of modes of material nature and perform karmic activities, we must transmigrate from body to body. Nature's law works so perfectly. So last paragraph, then we will finish. Now, when we come to the civilized human life, we should ask, why am I suffering? Right? So we are in the most superior species of life. Still we suffer, right? What is the reason of that? The problem is that because we are under the spell of Maya, illusion, we take suffering to be enjoyment, right? We consider it to be a part of life. Oh yeah, these things happen, that's okay. So I had fever, and then okay, after 4 or 5 days I was okay, then I started eating the same things. Yeah, so I am taking it as a part of life, that's okay. But the parts where I'm getting to enjoy, I want to relish that to fullest of extent. So Maya means that which is not. We are thinking we are enjoying, but actually we are suffering. In this material body, we have to suffer. Why? Because this spirit soul, for spirit soul, this is not the proper environment. This is not favorable, because spirit belongs to spiritual world, and this is actually material world, right? Therefore we feel different kind of sufferings. Either some pain is happening, or our, our mood is upset because of some dealings that happened with someone, you know or some natural calamities coming, or some insect bite happened, or some snake bite happened, or anything. So time to time there is some or the other suffering is going on. We suffer on account of the body. Pinching cold, scorching heat, we feel these things on account of body. Under certain circumstances, we feel pleasure. But in Bhagavad Gita 2.14, Krishna advises, Matra sparshastu kaunteya shitoshna sukha dukkhada agama paino nityastam tam stitikshasva bharata. Material happiness and distress are caused by the body. They come and go just like seasonal changes. So do not be disturbed, try to tolerate them, because this body is going to end after all. Because of this body, we feel all those things, because we are identifying with this body, right? So unless and until we are on the spiritual platform, we don't identify with our spirit soul as a servant of Krishna or the God. We will have to tolerate those pains and pleasures, right? So I'll stop here.
I don't know the word. Then they achieve Goloka, right? So there are like some 1,000 species, and human birth comes when like you are to that level, right? So the soul is going to take rebirth like being a human or like being some animal or anyhow, right? So like what is the thing like where they go to? So when we go to Goloka, then the soul will not be born again.
Yeah. Yes.
But
So,
then how this statement comes that the cycle goes on, that like I sometimes get confused between this, like if it is a cycle of like the soul goes through many births, then like if like the soul attains nirvana or something, like that in our Gujarati we call divya drushti or something like that, foresightedness or something, so they achieve Goloka, you mean to say?
So, according to Bhagavad Gita, Krishna has given three types of like activities. So, one is karma, second is vikarma, which is bad activities. Karma is like general activity, like kindness, something we do nice. And one is akarma, right? So, when we do, I will tell you what is akarma. So, when we do good activities, we have to come back to bear the good results, right? And when we do bad activities, we have to come to bear the bad results, bad fruits, right? So in this lifetime we are already experiencing both, therefore we can conclude that we have done both good activities and bad activities, right? But when we realize, let's say from today we are discussing this knowledge that we are servants of Krishna, so I do every activity on behalf of Krishna. So I am just doing it for him, to please him. Okay. So now this is not falling into either good category or bad category. It is just on behalf of Krishna. It is nothing for me. It is completely selfless. It is only for my Guru, only for Krishna. Right. So then that is falling into category of akarma. This is not even a karma, not even vikarma, but this is a karma, right? So when I am doing such activities which I am just offering to Krishna, where I'm just doing them for Krishna, so those activities don't bring any reaction, either good or bad. They are just neutral. They are just for Krishna. So when we do such activities, at that time, our karma is just going to get exhausted completely. And when we chant, our sinful reactions are also getting exhausted. I mean, they are just finishing, they are being removed. That is one of the. So when you get to learn Nectar of Devotion, it's a nice book, Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu, written by Srila Rupa Goswami. Um, in that it is mentioned that when we start chanting, means in one sense we are starting our devotional service. So first fruit of devotional service is kleshagni. That means our kleshas are getting removed, means the sinful reactions are getting removed, or they are just taking a small form. So something big was going to happen, but it will just happen in a small form, and it will just be removed, like that. So our karma are also, we are like finishing our karma, and also we are not creating new karmas.
Okay, and like even one more thing, like for that, linking the same thing, like sometimes we come across to certain persons, like so like our ancestors used to say, like our rune is pending, so like we had to give, so certain people we encounter right in our life, and it is like we just give certain, in our duty we just give them, we do not receive anything in return. So they used to tell, like my dad and grandfathers, like it is your, like why do this happen, and we are aware, like we are only the giving part, sometimes we are the earning parents, like we receive a lot of love and everything, but some person, like we are just giving and we are not getting anything in return. um like in the Mayavi world I'm talking about. So like they tell, it is our karma bandhan. So we have to, something would be pending in past life or somewhere. So we are giving to them, though we are not recipient of anything.
Mm-hmm.
So if like we go to that state where we chant, we do all the things, but certain, if somebody sees us also, they wish. You said that the butterfly thing also, okay, butterfly or bee thing, some story was there where he thinks like, I would have killed the butterfly or caught the butterfly, then he has even by that thought created that karma,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah, he got that body.
Yeah, so how, like, even those miniature thinking also creates karma. So it is complicated one. It's so
Yes,
much.
yes, it is. When these things generate karma, when Krishna is not in picture for us, when you become a devotee, really, it's a serious thing. When one becomes a devotee, then the whole like equation changes, because then Krishna is in the picture, right? So when one is chanting, one is offering like his everything to Krishna. You know, he's cooking for Krishna, I mean, trying to remember Krishna. So it is like seva, and even a little bit seva we do for Krishna, Krishna never forgets it. So he gives us intelligence from within, okay, not to be fearful, not to think about these bad things. I have personal experience of such things, that you know, some thoughts come about some people, that oh, this is, they behaved so bad, and why they did that, and we get angry about them. But then immediately Krishna will shift your thought by sending some instruction from within, that we heard from Guru Maharaj or from our teacher somewhere. That thought will come into the mind, and immediately the mind will get settled, that no, no, I don't want to think like that. They also might be in some circumstance that they behaved like this with me, but I don't want to, you know, think like that and ruin my own path. So that intelligence also Krishna gives us. So when Krishna is in the picture, we don't need to feel that we are alone in this journey. He is there with us. And yeah, we need to associate with devotees also more, so our faith gets more and more strength. They have a lot of faith in Krishna.
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Mataji.
Thank you so much, Hina, for joining into your time. So I'll see you tomorrow. Hare
Sure.
Krishna.
Sure, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much.
Thank you.